Republican and Trump challengers claim they couldn't do the job they were credentialed to do and allowed to do by state law, to watch the counting of Detroit ballots. One was escorted out. The Trump team called in backups.
At the TCF Center in Detroit, where vote counters have been tirelessly working, as President Donald Trump began lagging in the state of Michigan, his supporters showed up enchanted.
Some very tense moments outside the TCF Center Wednesday night. Both Trump and Biden supporters stood outside for hours.
The 2020 election in Michigan was a controversy among controversies. Republican poll challengers were excluded from the process, and Democrat operatives boarded up the windows to prevent any accountability. What were they trying to hide? At the same time as Republicans were being removed from the counting, Donald Trump was up by over 311,000 votes at 3:14 on the morning of November 4th, the day after the election. Republicans are removed from the process, and Joe Biden suddenly overcomes a 450,000 vote differential to win the state by 155,000 votes. Michigan residents cry foul, arguing that Joe Biden couldn't mathematically make up the difference. Let's head to Detroit and hear the Republican poll workers' experience. Welcome back to the Michigan election heist. Shortly after the election, the media and even senior members of the Trump administration started to claim that this was the most secure election in U.S. history. Chris Krebs was the director of the Cybersecurity and Critical Infrastructure Security Agency within the Department of Homeland Security, then headed by Chad Wolf. Krebs testified before Congress, saying that this was the most secure election in U.S. history.
In conclusion, because of these and other efforts, on November 12, 2020, government and industry representatives from the election security community issued a joint statement reflecting a consensus perspective that the 2020 election was the most secure in U.S. history.
Yet, no investigation has actually been conducted. How could the Department of Homeland Security make such a claim? There were a number of alarming signs indicating fraud, not the least of which Trump was winning by hundreds of thousands of votes in the early morning of November 4th. They were done counting ballots, and President Trump still had a solid lead over Joe Biden. This leads me to the question, what happens now? Can this election theft ever be rectified? What are the options? The Michigan legislature has authority to investigate and audit and decertify the election. The Michigan legislature is Republican. Not only has the Republican legislature not supported election integrity, but Republican chair of the Senate Oversight Committee, Ed McBroom, actually filed a report asking for the Democrat Attorney General to investigate and possibly prosecute any residents pushing to investigate the 2020 election. At this rate, it's unlikely that the current sitting Michigan legislature will do anything to protect Michigan citizens' right to a fair election. Regarding the legislative approach, the best option is to vote out the sitting members and replace with new candidates who actually want election transparency. That leads me to the problem of election integrity. Michigan citizens and all Americans need to secure their elections themselves. Find a group and physically secure your own elections. Volunteer as poll challengers. Get involved in local organizations who are working to clean up your local elections, and then vote out the leaders who refuse to help. Michigan Citizens for Election Integrity is a nonprofit in Michigan that is doing a lot of work to clean up the elections in Michigan. Reach out to them and get involved. This takes time and effort, but it's work that needs to be done.